Hey everybody, Scout Crafty here again. It's Mishmash Monday. I hope you had a nice weekend. I know the temperature's been up around here and where you are. A lot of people have been saying in excess of 100 degrees, a lot of rain going on. And yeah, you know, it's something that we have to contend with, you know, and I'm hoping that the summer don't get crazy. Anyway, today we got a couple things to do. You know, my mice, my 3 mice, for those of you new to the channel, every year some mice get into the house and I capture them and I put them into a little fish tank that I have, and then they keep them for the whole winter, and then I release them in the spring upstate, which is what I'm going to be doing next week. Now, in order to release them, I just don't let them go into the wild. What I do is I make a little home for them, a little house, and I put it into their into the tank that they're in now. This way they get accustomed to it, and then I just bring the whole house up there and I put it into the woods, and then that's their base of operations. From there they can explore and find new homes and hopefully new mates and live a good, happy life, because they have been probably some of the best pets I've ever owned in my life. They are just a joy to watch, and they are one of God's most precious creatures. So we're going to make a house for them. Also, I got a nice, cool Nicholson Catalog from 1931. A few things to do, so let's get to it. Okay, we're going to start with this 2x4. I found this a while ago on the street, and we're just going to cut this up, make a little box for them. And you know, you want it. It's funny with mice, you don't want something too big or elaborate. Just something small they can get shelter with and get used to, and they like to stay in small areas. We're over at the one of my favorite tools, the drill press, and what we're going to do here is we're going to make a entry hole for the mice so that they can get in and out of their home. Now, a spade bit, whenever you're using a spade bit anytime, the problem with spade bits, they're great, but they give a lot of tear out. Now, one way I found to get away from the tear out is, what you want to do is we mount it into the drill press, and then we bring it down here until it just breaks that hole there, you see? And then we set the depth stop so it can't go any further. So what that point is going to come through the other side, then we just flip it and go the other way, and that'll, you know, make a semi-clean hole. You can't really do two, especially with pine. Let's see what we get. Now, you see, not a bad hole going through now, but you see, here's that little hole we were talking about that came out the bottom. Now we flip it around, we line it up under here, and we're going to drill it this way and hopefully meet up. Okay. There's our hole. Now, if you tried to do this with a hole saw, you know, the hole saws they make today are rough. So anyway, we'll just chamfer the edge here, make it nice. But you can see that's a pretty clean hole for a spade bit. And that's the best way I could do it on both sides without tremendous tear out, especially okay, here we have a simple box. Made an entry hole here. I also made a fire escape hole just in case they have to get out in a hurry. This one I made smaller. Although it's a little bigger on the inside, but I made smaller. Like I said, I don't want predators getting in. Now I'm going to put a covering over the top and bottom. It's a little bigger than they need, but you know, they might want to have company or whatever. So let's get a cover. And here we go. We got a little mouse house here, and you could see have some ventilation holes in the side. Super strong, all scrap wood that would have been thrown out, that was in the garbage pile. And you know, this thing is built that you could run a truck over, actually. But this way they, well, I'll put this now in their fish tank, let them get accustomed to it for a couple days. Then next week I'll bring you up while we release them. Okay, when we talk about files, the one person we think about is William Thomas Nicholson. Now, William Thomas Nicholson did not invent the file, but much like Henry Ford, he was instrumental in the production of making files, and he got the patent for file making machines. Now, before his patent or his production came along, people used to make files by hand, and by doing that, you would take a chisel and you would every 16th of an inch or something, you would knock a notch into a piece of steel and then harden it, and that's how you made files. It was very tedious and they were very expensive. Well, Nicholson came up with a machine that would do it and make it very uniform, and because of that, his files were cheaper and better. Again, like Henry Ford. Now, this particular file is just one of many that he made. And one thing about Nicholson is not only did he produce and sell in the United States, but he was worldwide, and that's where this next item comes into play. Nicholson was young. He worked for one of the founders of Brown and Sharp, and that's where he learned his machining skills and whatnot. Now, I picked up this catalog some time ago. This is a 1931 catalog of Nicholson. This is their export catalog, so it's in French, but it is just a beautiful catalog, and just like they used to make all the catalogs back then. And I wanted to show you, so it's just today this catalog would sell just as well as it did back then. Let me show you some of the very interesting illustrations, things like this. This was all the factories that they had. From Providence, Rhode Island was their main factory. They also had Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Indiana, New Jersey, and Ontario, Canada. And you could see, it's always nice when they show you pictures of their factories and whatnot. They give you a small history of the file company. Again, this is in French. This is how the files would come. They would come in boxes like this. And if you've ever seen new old stock boxes like this, it's just beautiful. Now remember, these are all drawings. These aren't photographs. These are all, everything you're about to see in this catalog is drawings. But look at how fantastic and easy to understand this catalog is, and how you could see obviously the profile, the shape of the file. It tells you the teeth per inch. It tells you all that. And like I said, I don't even understand the language, but I can understand exactly what's going on here and what type of files they are. These are the triangle files, and they had a lot of them. They were very popular back then. And then we went to the standard flat files that we know of now. And you can see here, it tells you for each size file, the length of each file, what the cut would look like. You know that a 4-inch file is going to be much finer than a 16-inch file, but it's the same type of cut. And you could see, again, these are all drawings. So just phenomenal catalog. And here is a triangle. These are files that you don't see too much anymore. This shape of file, it's almost like an elongated diamond. And but they were popular back then. I have a couple of these like teardrop styles, and of course we have the half rounds, which is still popular. Here's some files with the handles on them, which I'm surprised they didn't make more of. And every one of these drawings, again, look at the how wonderful they show you the pattern, the cut pattern of each file. If you were looking to buy a file, this catalog would have come in so handy. I mean, if you're a file enthusiast like I am, here's some more half rounds, and again, you could see the pattern, the cut on the files. Here are round files, and the patterns, just beautiful. Now, if you look over here, you see, again, more triangle, but these are the larger style files. And again, different cuts. You have double cuts, single cuts, and you can order whatever you wanted just from looking at this. Here's, we get into the rasps. Rasps are more for wood files, and farriers used to use these. And again, we get more into the farrier type cuts. But look at, here's one. I don't know if you've ever seen this type of grind on a file. You don't see that too often. But here are the popular ones, and they still make these today. The double type files, and I have a couple of these, and here again is the farrier file. Just a beautiful catalog, isn't it? And here's the needle files that we love so much, and the different styles, different patterns. And Nicholson was the major company back then. Again, more needle files, and of course file cards. You know, this one with the internal pick in it, which was always nice. Look at them, they're nice file cards. You don't see those around too much. But this again was their catalog for export, but they had the same one in English, which when I bought this I actually thought I was buying an English one, but it's mostly English on the front. Anyway, great catalog, great company, Nicholson Files. Okay, last up we have a couple of Basin wrenches from Brian Ohare in his box of tools, and I was looking at them. I wanted to know which ones you like better, so let's go check them out now. Next up, this is what's commonly known as a Basin wrench, and they were popular and still are today for doing work under your sink and for your basin. And what you would do is this would get hold of the nut that holds on the tube, the water supply tube, and you could turn it on or off. and depending on which way you have this set. Now this is an older style, and what I wanted to do is I'm just giving you a quick show of how this works. And this would be for loosening. You would put this under and it would loosen the nut. If you wanted to tighten it, you would pull this down like this, pull this off, and put it on the other side like this. And then that would be for tightening, for putting that would tighten the nut under there. Now this is a more modern basin wrench. You can see here, it's the same, works the same exact way, but for this to work, all you do here is you press this in like this here, and when you press it in, that little detent will unlock. It's a little stiff now, but you can see it spins it the other way, and then you would have this set up for, this now would be for loosening, and then you would, so it has a spring detent in there. Let me clean these up, and let me know which one you like better. Now you know my favorite part. Remember what these basin wrenches look like before we started. And we're calling this project done. You can see how nice these come out. First of all, we have this older one here, or this hexagon one. It was made by the Handy. You can see it says Handy Basin Wrench. And you can see here it looks like an MB. Okay, over here is the trademark. I could not find any information on it, but this cleaned up really nicely, and you can see here everything is nice and smooth now as far as changing the jaw position. It's all oiled up and all the rust removed. It's a pretty wrench. Now the only part I didn't take any of this off. This is all original. It's just there was a big glob of excess weld or forging or whatever it was that was up here, and I just took that off. But other than that, it's all original. And this wrench was, again, a plumbing wrench, so a lot of times they were coated with different different items. Like this one here was cadmium. Now cadmium was is a coating that much resembles zinc, but it has a more metallic appearance, and it's a better, longer lasting coating. It has been banned because of the production leaves a lot of poisonous materials in the water and things like that. However, they are using cadmium again, but now there's much more strict restrictions on how they can get rid of it. This particular basin wrench was made, you can see here, by Ace Covers Company out of Bedford, Ohio. Bedford, Ohio was an area that had a lot of manufacturing years ago, and again, like everything else, it went overseas. But this one here, again, was cadmium coated, and you see how nicely they come up, when they are coated. You just have to be careful when you're wire brushing or anything. You must wear a mask. You don't want to inhale this stuff, so you got to have a good mask, not a cheap mask. So other than that, and just make sure you don't do too much of it. You can see how this, like I said, how this operates. You push this in like this, and that little swivel, you see how that swivels there? So you can do either way. Now my question to you is which one do you prefer? Which basin wrench do you prefer? You could still get this one today. This is the common design that they sell at most plumbing manufacturers and stuff. But which one do you like? That's what I want to know. Which wrench do you prefer as far as looks, as far as if you had to own one of them, which one would you like to own? Just a question. Now, one thing interesting about the cadmium coating is it's meant to be a coating that's put on there as a sacrificial coating. So you might see tools that have what looks like corrosion or rust on it. And if they're cadmium coated, that's usually the cadmium that's taking up the rust and corrosion and protecting the underlying surface. You can use it on brass, steel, iron, aluminum, all different types of surfaces. And they do use it a lot. And like I said, it is a sacrificial coating. So that's pretty interesting. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you have a nice day. Thanks very much for tuning in. Take care now. We'll see you again on Wednesday.